We're so happy to be a part of it. I've written my check already to help with that, and I hope that you guys will help with it too. Martha Randolph, thank you so much for being with me today.
No problem. Thank you for having us.
So tell us about this year and what you need.
Basically, it's about the same. We just needed donations to help feed. Last year, we fed, what, Angela? About 2,300 meals out. This year, we're getting to a late start because of some issues with family, but we got it all worked out, and they are definitely calling in, coming in, donating, putting things together. Matter of fact, people started calling me before I started calling them. So I'm like, oh, and Martha, you were one of them that got me going.
No, thank you. The Marthas have to stick together, right?
Right.
So tell folks how this will work. Let's talk about how they can donate, and then let's talk about if they want to partake. Angela.
I'm Angela Middleton, and I do the volunteer. So let's talk about the volunteers first. So we have, it's a 4-day event that we volunteer starting on Monday, and everyone has their assignments. Why? Because we are preparing home-cooked meals, and it takes a while to prepare them. So we have volunteers that come in on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in shifts to do everything from wash chickens, seasoned chickens, to making the cutting celery and onions, to preparing the dressing. So we are excited to have you to volunteer for that. We do have people that have been coming in for years, and so they kind of got it down. They know what they've been doing. But we always have room for more, but the list is filling up.
So if they want to volunteer, how can they do that?
Okay, so if you'd like to volunteer, please email me at atmiddleton32@gmail.com. Once again, that's atmiddleton32@gmail.com, and I'll get back with you because I'll have to go down the list. As I say, it's filling up, so I need to know what slots we have available.
Absolutely. And Martha, on the day of, how does it work?
Basically, we have the guys that do all the cooking of the chicken all night long on different smokers. And then what we do, we start up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, no, actually, we start up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And volunteers start coming in about 7. But we have an assembly line where we set up everything, and everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do. And once we start calling out the shifts in the different organizations that we have to feed, the senior citizen facilities and all that, then people start filling that order and getting it set up.
And you've been called to do this. You know, my husband always asks the question, don't they screen people or make sure that the people are really needy? And I said, no, it's basically anybody who wants to come and get a Thanksgiving meal, they can come and get a Thanksgiving meal, right?
That's it. Mr. Beckstein, when I used to help him years ago, and I started helping him, and I said, Mr. Beckstein, those people, I don't think he said, Martha, who are you to say they in need and not in need? You don't know their circumstances. I looked at him, I felt this big, and I said, you are so right, Mr. Beckstein.
You know, wasn't he, Gene Beckstein, for those of you who may be new to the community or whatever, he started Good News at Noon, which started out as a homeless shelter. Mm-hmm. Then it became a medical clinic, and then the medical clinic kind of separated out from the homeless shelter, and the medical clinic is now run by Northeast Georgia Health Systems as well as other charitable partners, and we do such a great job, of providing health care to people at a sliding scale that might not be able to do that, and that's part of the Good News clinics. But the Good News at Noon homeless shelter, I mean, if you met Gene Beckstein, he's passed away now, but to me, he was about as close to Jesus Christ as I've ever met on this earth. I mean, he totally put other people first, and he saw the good in everybody, Martha. Everybody.
He did. He really did. He taught me a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why I guess I'm doing this, because of what he has taught me and showed me. So it takes a world to help a world. And if we don't have enough people stepping in where there's a need, then we're going to fail.
You know, way back in 1999, seems like a long time ago, but it wasn't that long ago, when Al Gore was running for president. Okay, remember when he went to the Salvation Army headquarters in Atlanta that's right there on North Druid Hills Road? And he said, Al Gore said this, that a community can do more with $1 than the government ever could. Because if you had to wait for money from the government from this, it would have gone through 14 hands before it got to you. And say maybe, I'm just going to say a round number, it takes you $5,000 to put this on. I don't know what it takes, but whatever it takes to put this on. That if it would have started out at 20 at the government, and then somebody take this and somebody take that and somebody take this, somebody take that, and then it get to you and you do what you do. But it's so much better to do it locally.
That's it.
Where you know the people, where you can get the money, and every dollar you take in goes to this project.
Every dollar. Nobody gets paid. You have to volunteer and you have to give back.
Yes.
That's the only way it's going to take.
And everybody can do their part. I'm going to be out of town, so I wrote a check to help. That's how I helped. I'm going to be out of town for Thanksgiving. But you can help by volunteering. I brought my grandchildren one year with me to help out. And so it's one of those things that you can find your way to serve. And I think it's exciting.
That's it.
That's
is.
it.
And once again, that's atmiddleton32@gmail.com.
For volunteering. And then if anybody needs any more information, how can they find out?
678-357-8248.
Martha Randolph, Angela Middleton, thank you so much for being with us today. We love you.
Thank you. We love you.
We'll take a break.
Keeping you up to date with the latest news and weather is what we do every day.
It's the news I trust.
North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
It's getting cooler, and that means those outdoor pests want to be indoor residents. While a tube of caulk goes a long way to keep them out, Select Pest Control can make sure they don't leave alive. Select can put down a residual barrier that keeps the pest out. And if you want to do it yourself, they'll put the right product into your hands and make sure you know how to use it. Find out more at selectpest.net, or better yet, visit the Select store at 1786 Brownsbridge Road and tell them Todd Stern sent you.
You wouldn't want someone you couldn't trust working on your family's HVAC and plumbing, so why would you call anyone but Gainesville Mechanical? They're your local, most trusted and award-winning HVAC and plumbing company in North Georgia. From maintenance appointments and clogged drains to plumbing emergencies and new system installations, their team is ready to serve you. And with their customer assurance maintenance plan, you can receive discounts, priority scheduling, and 24/7 no overtime rates. Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes since 1989.
In our community, nearly 65,000 neighbors, including 11,000 children, struggle with food insecurity. At the Georgia Mountain Food Bank, the people we serve are the forefront of all we do. Despite rising food prices and increased demand, we continue to make an impact across our 5-county service area. Last year, the Georgia Mountain Food Bank distributed more than 9 million meals, and we couldn't do it without you. Your kindness and generosity are making an impact to help feed individuals in our community. Learn more about how you can help at gmfb.org.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
So Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $29.95 a month for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This top-tier plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you'll save over 50% every month for the rest of your life. You might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer expires 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, a dozen acres of wooded brush is damaged from a weekend fire southwest of Dawsonville. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Go to any
any anti-Israel protest in this country and go to any pro-Israel protest in this country and notice one glaring difference. The pro-Israel protest will have happy people, by the way, generally, you'll notice, happy people flying the flag of the State of Israel and the flag of this country. Go to an anti-Israel protest and they will be flying the flag of the Palestinians, they will be flying the flag maybe of Hamas or of Hezbollah or the Iranian Revolutionary Government. They will not be flying an American flag. In fact, if there is an American flag there, it's only there so they can put it on the floor and burn it. This tells us quite a lot. We sang tonight, Hatikva and the Star-Spangled Banner. Find me the anti-Israel protest in America where they would sing the national anthem of America. And the same thing goes in every country. Find the anti-Israel protesters in the UK who, after they've screamed jihad, jihad, all get together and sing God Save the King.
So it's the Martha Zoller Show. I'm here with Joni Alpert. And Joni, this is the first time we've gotten together since I got back from Israel. And that was Douglas Murray, who is just the best defender of the West, I think, that there is out there.
Absolutely.
And he is just amazing. But I had an amazing trip in Israel. It was a very harrowing trip back home, but because of all the shutdown and the flights and all that kind of stuff, which I knew they were going to come to an agreement on what to do related to the shutdown, and they did do that the next day. And I think that we'll talk a lot about that because basically they did the same deal they would have had on the 22nd of September, but there was a lot of pain. So the Democrats were fine with the pain that they were causing, and they still say they didn't fight hard enough, which I think is crazy. But Israel was so interesting that from every person that we met, the Palestinians, the Jews, the Arabs, the IDF soldiers, whoever it was this kind of common ground and not as negative as you would think it would be with as much as they're attacked. They're a happy, positive people. It was kind of like what Douglas Murray is saying. You go to a pro-Israel protest and everybody's happy.
It really is amazing. They're happy. They're upbeat. One of my best friends from Atlanta moved to Jerusalem, and we talk, and she's part of the Siren Singers. Goes down to the basement when the bombs do occur, and they sing with joy. And it's amazing the resilience of these people.
And to your point about the bomb shelters, there were 2 instances in the week that we were there that, one, I could tell that the security guards heard something off in the distance because we were at the Nova Festival site and talking to the Bedouin police officer that saved 200 people that day. And I could tell there was something going on because they were talking and they were seeing what was going to happen. And then they said, hey, we're not going to the bathroom here. We're going to get on the bus and go down the road because they heard a few things that they didn't like. And then we were at the hotel in Magdala, which is where Mary Magdalene is from, where they have just excavated a first century synagogue because there was a shift that happened with Judaism kind of at the end of the last millennia going into the new one, where you had the temple where there was sacrifices made and things like that. And prayer wasn't a huge part of that early Judaism. I mean, it was a part, but not a huge part. And then it shifted to the concept of synagogues with rabbis and the reading of the Torah and doing more prayer, more kind of worshiping without sacrifices. At least that's how it was explained to us. And that there are these first century synagogues in Magdala where they think that Jesus must have preached there because he preached for 3 years in synagogues. We were on the Sea of Galilee. We were where the Sermon on the Mount was. We were where there's a story in the Bible about the hogs that are full of demons and they get thrown into the sea. I mean, we were near where all of those things happened. We had a communion service on the Sea of Galilee, but in that particular hotel, they did actually, now maybe this is common practice, but they did come around and say, hey, if you hear this alarm in the middle of the night, you don't pick up anything. You go straight to room 33 and room 50, which are bomb shelters on this level.
It is sadly common practice. In fact, until this recent peace deal and getting the hostages back, it was almost, I would say, daily at least, and you expected it, and everybody went into the shelter.
Yeah, and so the first night we went down into the old city of Jerusalem, and as I was walking down the stairs to get to the old city, I knew I was going to have to climb them back up to get back, but that's okay. And we got down to the Western Wall, and
Wow.
and the Western Wall is, where the Orthodox Jews control the Western Wall, so that if you are a female, you go in one side. If you're a male, you go in the other side. And then there's a ramp right next to it that goes up to the Temple Mount. And that ramp is what the Muslims use to get up to the top of the Temple Mount, because that's the people who control the Temple Mount. And then we also walked to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And what's interesting about that is that it's closer together than you think. If you watch a movie about the Bible, you think that Golgotha is a long way from where Jesus was buried, but it's really not. It's all under this, there are these chapels inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, but then there's this overall huge cathedral, temple, church, whatever the terminology is, that's over all of that. So you walk in to the right, you go up to a chapel that is over Golgotha, and you can put your hand in there and feel the top of Golgotha, which is where Christ was crucified.
Wow.
And then you go forward, and there's a table that over the years has been covered, because it's supposed to be the table that Jesus's body was prepared on. And that's what the belief is. And people are kissing it and kneeling before it and doing all the things that you would do. But they've put a stone covering over it, because I guess so many people were touching it, they didn't want it to get destroyed. And then you go on into the back of the church, and there's another cathedral or chapel that is controlled on different days by different Christian sects, which is really interesting. The Armenian Orthodox do one day, the Greek Orthodox do one day, the Catholics do one day, and I've forgotten who the fourth one was, but there's these different Christian sects that control you getting in and out of to see where Christ's tomb was, or where they believe Christ's tomb was. So, and then at the end of the day, which is so interesting, the nuns and the monks sleep inside of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, because they don't want people to come in and steal anything. And the Muslim cleric, because it's kind of in the Muslim sector of Jerusalem, the Muslim cleric comes and does a ceremony and locks them in at night. And then in the morning at daybreak, he comes back and they do another, and they unlock them and open the church up.
Interesting.
It was so interesting. And we went into the 4 sectors of the old city. There's a Jewish sector where it's a gated community, but not like any gated community you've ever seen. They're big iron gates, and you go in, and we were able to walk through that one. We were able to walk through the Muslim one. We went through the city of David. Ironically, the Armenian Orthodox one, you cannot just walk through. You have to be there for a particular reason, and then you can get in. So there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of very negotiated settlements that have happened within the city of Jerusalem, because it is for Christians, for Muslims, and for Jews, it is the place of their faith.
Yes, very, very interesting. I've been there twice, and my son-in-law is Israeli, so I get to hear quite a bit.
Now, did you go on a birthright trip? Is that what it's called?
No,
Okay.
birthrights for kids, teens, college age,
Got
and
it.
they get sent over for free. They
Did
do
your
not
daughters
pay.
do that?
My daughters both did it.
Yes.
And so I thought that was interesting. And in fact, the important point is if you meet your future husband on the trip, birthright pays for the wedding.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
Did your daughter meet her future husband on the trip?
Unfortunately. No, they're very happily married, but no, they did not meet on the birthright trip.
Well, it was funny. We went to a Shabbat dinner on Friday night with the Daniel Taub family, and he says, yes, there was like 20 of us at this dinner, and it was a Orthodox home, and so they did have lights but no air conditioning, and it was quite warm. So we had to open the doors up and all that stuff. But he was saying, yeah, Shabbat dinners are so you can gather with friends and marry off your unmarried children.
Exactly. They want you. It is interesting. They really want the women married by the time they're 18, 19, and they do have shidduchs, which means they have arranged marriages, and they're planned. And your job is to get married and then have 8 kids. That's the standard.
You know, I don't think that's such a bad thing.
I think it's wonderful.
The young man who was their youngest of 6, they had 6 in their family. He was there. He's single. And so it was funny as we were going around the table introducing ourselves, a couple of the guys that had daughters says, yes, and I have 3 daughters, 22, 25, whatever.
Absolutely. It's a great idea.
It is a great idea. So all in all, I had a wonderful time. Later on in the week, we're going to talk to Sharon Kidon, who is a journalist in Israel, and she's going to share her experiences with us about on that day covering October 7th. But also, she and her husband are both veterans, and her children are now in the IDF. Her parents served in the IDF. So you have that generational service, and we're going to talk about that with her later in the week. We'll be back. Hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, we're going to talk about it next.
While technology has certainly changed the way people do business, it hasn't changed the way we treat our customers. It's Mike Cormier, and at Hardy Chevrolet, we are as committed to excellent customer service as the Hardys were when they started the business here in Gainesville over 4 decades ago. When it's time for a new or used vehicle, remember what Charles Hardy always said.
We love you and we need you.
Together, let's drive. At Hardy Chevrolet, Brownsbridge Road in Gainesville, online at hardychevrolet.com.
Innovation at Jackson EMC.
To me, innovation is taking technology and doing something new with it.
I'm working with a global company. We're helping them be able to reduce their carbon footprint through some of our programs.
Here at Jackson EMC, we embrace innovation, such as solar power, electric vehicle programs, energy-efficient right-choice homes. Jackson EMC, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow.
Should you make your trust the beneficiary of your IRA? Some may say you shouldn't, but we say you should. This is Kevin Tharp, elder law and estate planning attorney, and if you want your IRA to be protected for your surviving spouse, children, or family, then you should leave it to them at your death through a trust. For more information, go to my website, KevinTharp.com.
Want the latest rumor? Check social media.
Social media plays a big role in today's society.
Want to know if it's true? Log on to accesswdun.com. We focus on the facts and leave the fiction to the others.
But trustworthy and reliable.
Online news powered by North Georgia's News Talk. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 9:30. News. I'm Therese Crowley. Your choice as Americans pick their health care plans for next year. The House is back from the government shutdown with health care atop the agenda there. President Trump wants to take the billions that Obamacare would pay to insurance companies and give it direct to consumers to buy their own plans. The GOP's Florida Rep. Anna Paulina Luna tells Fox.
Part of the reason why this hasn't been reformed over so many years is because of the fact that a majority of Congress is bought and paid for. So I think the president's perspective is brilliant.
And the air traffic system recovers from another government shutdown hangover. As of today, the FAA has ended all mandated flight cancellations. O.J. Simpson's estate has officially agreed to pay out $58 million for the wrongful death of Ron Goldman, 31 years after the Brentwood murders of Goldman and O.J.'s ex-wife, Nicole. The NFL star died last year after paying almost nothing on the judgment. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
WDUN. From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. And Dawson County and state fire officials spent much of Sunday dousing a brush fire just southwest of Dawsonville. This happened during the early afternoon hours, and Dawson County social media says their crews were called to put out the brushwoods fire, with Georgia Forestry Commission aiding in their efforts. Nearly 12 acres of land was damaged. The cause still under investigation. A new school cluster in Houston is getting closer to opening, and the Jackson County school system has provided an update. WDUN's William Daughtry with details.
The school system posted on Friday that the property that will house the new Houston High School, Hayes Farm Elementary School, and Sells Mill Middle School has seen significant process. The high school and elementary school are slated to open in the fall of 2027, while the middle school is set to open in the fall of 2028.
And North Georgia Technical College's Alumni Association recently announced their 2025 Alumni Award recipients. More from WDUN's Brian Perkle.
Sharon Landrum was named the 2025 Alumni Hall of Fame Award winner. She holds an NGTC degree in data processing. The Young Alumni Award was presented to Brenton Mealer, who has a degree in advanced manufacturing systems. Tim Bennett, who served as an instructor and director of economic development prior to his retirement, was given the Bridge Builder Award. To learn more about the award recipients, visit Access WDUN.
Well, there's more news online at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
North Georgia, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s for highs this afternoon. Mostly clear this evening. Lows by tomorrow in the low 40s. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Alto, 53 degrees, Lawrenceville, 52, and in Gainesville, 51. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Have you ever been at your wit's end over grief? Hi, this is Pastor Whit Martin from Asbury Chapel. Grief often weighs us down and makes it hard to keep our heads up. There are so many who pray that their grief would be taken care of, dealt with, or even overcome by something or someone. Well, I've got good news for you. There is someone who can overcome our grief. Jesus told his disciples in John chapter 16, and he tells us today that he has overcome the world and its grief. His beautiful gift of forgiveness and renewed life overcomes our darkest nights and deepest griefs. The Bible tells us beautifully in the Psalms that weeping may last through the night, but joy comes in the morning. Let Jesus be your overcomer through faith in him. Let him deal with your grief so that joy may come and lift you up today. And that, my friends, is wit's end. Let Jesus overcome your grief at Asbury Chapel, or learn more at asburychapel.net.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
When you look at overall inflation for the first year of Trump versus Biden, overall inflation was up 4.3%. Higher than Trump, just up 1.6%. Groceries under Biden in that time, up 3.8%. With Trump, up 1.3%. And then when it comes to gas, this is crazy. Biden up 24.4%. With Trump, it is actually down 5.4%. That is where the biggest difference is. And we heard from the HUD Secretary, Scott Turner, this afternoon. They are racing to cut red tape for construction projects because the belief among officials here is that if housing is the number one place where people are getting killed when it comes to affordability, if people are cutting red tape and able to build more houses and apartments, then the prices will come down. Pretty basic supply and demand in play.
So that's Peter Ducey, and we are going to get to Marjorie Taylor Greene because I think she's worth talking about because she's kind of in our listening area and she's doing some very interesting things, okay? And we're going to talk about that. I sent you some audio, Logan, but don't forget that one. It's the wrong clip. I'm looking for the apology clip, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But Peter Ducey brings up a good point, and I think all these numbers are right, Joni. But the kids I talk to, they're not feeling it yet, okay? So what's it going to take, do you think, on the next 6 months, really, this next 6 months are crucial for this next election, okay, that people have got to start feeling these decreases in prices. And what do you think it takes?
I think there needs to be a further reduction in the food prices. And I think that it makes a difference.
I think they've got to, I think President Trump has pleasantly surprised me related to the tariffs. Okay. They have not affected the economy as much as everybody, Steve Moore, everybody thought they were going to. But I think that it was a mistake to put tariffs on food, period. I mean, there should not be any, we shouldn't be charged any tariffs, and we shouldn't be charging any tariffs as it relates to food, because people expect to have what they want in the grocery store at the best price at all times.
But it's a little bit, it is upsetting to hear. Like yesterday I was reading the New York Times, and there was a whole thing about why you have to say bye-bye to your pasta. Like, come on. I don't believe that's going to happen. They can't get the semolina, whatever it is.
Right.
I think they are just yelling, the sky is falling, and I don't think it's true. So I personally, the eggs prices have come down, gasoline has come down. So I really don't know what to say.
Yeah, I think that they should, especially I think these folks in the city that don't drive as much, that don't, you know what I mean? They don't drive as much, so they don't notice that the gas prices have come down.
Right.
If you are a vegetarian, flip side is you don't notice that meat is through the roof.
Right.
I mean, meat is through the roof right
Correct.
now. Okay. I do think that there has been reduction in other things like eggs and dairy and stuff like
Right.
that. And they have done a little bit of shadiness with the sizes. Okay. I will admit that. I mean, you know, Walmart said, oh, our Thanksgiving box is 25% less than it was last year, but it doesn't have as much stuff in it as it did last year. It was a little sneaky. So I get it. And I think that what we've got to do is have better things. And then the market's extremely volatile too right now. And that's making people nervous, like on our end of the spectrum,
Yes.
you know, the baby boomer end
Yes.
of the spectrum. So I think that what we've got is about a 6-month window for President Trump to really show people that the economic policies he's put in place are going to make things better. And if he does that, then I think it's good for the midterms, because we must at least maintain for the midterms.
Absolutely.
Where we are right now.
Yes.
Because the beauty of the shutdown is this. The little secret was they did adjust the CR a little bit and added 3 department budgets in. So those were approved, and they're approved till September 30th, 3 of the 12. There are 5 more that they've already passed, that if they can get them through between now and the end of January, then that's 8 of the 12 departments will have budgets until September 30th. If they're able to do that, then even if they have a, quote, shutdown the end of January, the parts of the government that are shut down are not going to be parts that affect people that much. It won't be air traffic control. It won't be agriculture. It won't be military. Those will have already been taken care of. So that's what I'm watching for, Joni, is this amazing way that Mike Johnson has been able to manage this really small majority and be able to do things that we haven't been able to do in 20 years, like get appropriations bills done. And if he can get us back on regular order, I said the 2 things of the Trump administration. If RFK can get the food supply straightened out, and if Mike Johnson can get us back on regular order, we'll be smooth sailing, you know, for the next 20 years.
Yeah, he's great. Mike Johnson is terrific. But Mike, here's my question. Do you think that some of the Dems realize how horrible the shutdown was? They got nothing for it, and they caused enormous pain, and they inflicted all this pain for one purpose, and that was to cause chaos because they don't like Trump.
And Dana Perino said it best. She said they got the same deal they had on the 22nd of September. The pain was optional. They decided to cause pain of regular people like the people I was waiting in the airport with all Sunday.
Your flights were canceled.
The flights were canceled. Thankfully, I got home okay, but there were people I talked to that were missing weddings of relatives. They were missing parties. They were missing things in their family. And you know, and you're stuck there. You shouldn't be mad. I mean, you know, I tried to be as positive as possible, and I thanked every TSA agent I saw, and I thanked the custom people that's got me through, and I made sure that I thanked them, because they didn't have to be there, and they were. And I love it that the people that showed up for work every day, they're getting a $10,000 bonus.
I think it's great.
Yeah. And they'll get it now in time for Christmas.
They should. They should. I was afraid this was going to go on through Thanksgiving. I'm traveling to New York for Thanksgiving, but I thought they wanted to have massive chaos Thanksgiving. And I think the whole situation was atrocious with the FAA and the flights being canceled. And I think about people who wanted to see a loved one who maybe was at the end of their life, or perhaps they had to travel somewhere for medical care. I just think they are just so hateful towards Trump.
And Congress people can book themselves on 5 different flights at the same time because of who they are. Regular folks can't do that. So it's not fair. They should do without their money. I mean, number one thing they need to change is if they're going to shut the government out, they shouldn't get paid. They shouldn't get paid if they're going to shut the government down. Now, we got a nice text message in saying Mr. Beckstein, talking about Gene Beckstein, was at Gainesville High School when I went to school in the 80s. He never saw a bad kid. He is absolutely right about that. He was an amazing guy. Now, before we get out of this segment, I'm going to play this audio, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, her endorsement from President Trump was taken away over the weekend. She has been, she's gotten kind of all into this Epstein thing, which we'll talk about that on the other side too. President Trump has also said over the weekend that he supports all the Epstein files being released. And you know, here's just bottom line. You can call me up with what about this and what about that relating to Epstein. But the bottom line is, if there was a smoking gun related to Donald Trump and the Epstein files, not these stupid 3 emails that were sent out at the end of last week, the Democrats would have used it in 24 against him during the election. Okay, they didn't. They had control of the files. I believe Donald Trump's story that once he found out the kind of person that Epstein was, that he pushed him aside, and that's really why Epstein hated him so much, because he cooperated with the people that actually convicted him in 2008. Okay, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, here's what she said on CNN about her rhetoric of the past.
You posted on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another, and we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences. Yeah. And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So just to put a button on this, you regret the things that you have said and posted in the past, the Facebook post that was taken down of you in 2020 holding a gun alongside the squad, encouraging people to go on the offense against the socialists, liking a tweet of somebody calling for the execution of Nancy Pelosi and former President Obama. Just examples.
Well, Dana, as you know, and many people know, I addressed that back in 2021. And of course, I never want to cause any harm or anything bad for anyone. So that was addressed back then, and okay. I very much stand by my words I said then, and I stand by my words today. I think America needs to come together and end all the toxic, dangerous rhetoric and divide. And I'm leading the way with my own example, and I hope that President Trump can do the same.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more.
In North Georgia,
it's the topics that matter to me.
We're your eyes and ears in the community with the latest breaking news.
It's the most important thing we face.
AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
Proverbs tells us, whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay them for his deed. This is Mike Martin. My Sister's Place is a shelter that provides a fresh start for homeless women and children. They offer a nurturing home, transportation assistance, nutritious meals, and other basic necessities to single women and mothers with children whom they serve. They also provide life skill workshops, case management, counseling, and other development tools to get them back on their feet. They rely on the support of their friends and neighbors to continue to help women and children in need. Learn more at my-sisters-place.org. Take care and God bless you.
This message brought to you by Milton Martin Toyota.
Hello, Gainesville. This is Carol with the Spa on Green Street. The holidays are quickly approaching, and we are ready for you to come in and shop in our boutique at the Spa on Green Street. We've even put together some special baskets that you can just pick up and go. So don't forget about the Spa on Green Street for your holiday needs. Who in the world at this place and time doesn't need to melt the stress away? So come see us at the spa or order your gift cards online at spaongreenstreet.com.
Building, moving, remodeling, they all create more waste than will fit in your average garbage can. Thank goodness for Waste Eliminator. They offer roll-off dumpsters in all sizes. Just visit wasteeliminator.com, click on Order Dumpster, and they'll deliver just what you need. From simple home cleanout to large commercial projects, Waste Eliminator handles it all. Schedule your roll-off dumpster today at wasteeliminator.com. Environmentally responsible and committed to customer service. It's Waste Eliminator.
Magical Nights of Lights has returned to Lanier Islands Resort. Let your holiday spirit shine as you drive through 6 miles of dazzling lights where marching toy soldiers sparkle, Santa tailgates in style, and pickleball elves play. Visit holiday headquarters at Game Changer with Clark's Pop-Up Bar or delight in a festive buffet with the big guy himself at Breakfast with Santa. The magic, the memories, the lights you've been waiting for. Magical Nights of Lights at Lanier Islands Resort. Visit LanierIslands.com for reservations.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, search for a missing Gainesville native approaches a week since his disappearance near Blood Mountain in Union County. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
It's just funny how the news works, because Bill Clinton, wrote a letter to, Jeffrey Epstein as well for his birthday, but nobody's talking about that. Mm-hmm. And Jeffrey Epstein had a picture of Bill Clinton in a dress and high heels, in his New York mansion, but nobody's talking about that. My thing is this. I don't care who's on the list. Everybody got to go. Mm-hmm. Burn it all down. Yeah. That's just simple as that. Mutually assured destruction. Whoever's on that list need to go. Nobody needs to be protecting pedophiles. I don't care what party they are.
So that's Charlemagne the God, basically saying what I think about this. I think if you are on that list, you should be done in politics. I don't care who you are. Okay, and I believe President Trump, and here's why I believe him, folks. First of all, if you remember Donald Trump before he became a Republican, everybody loved him. Everybody thought he was great. Everybody was begging for his attention, and he had women throwing themselves at him. He didn't need to go to Jeffrey Epstein like a Bill Gates or a Bill Clinton to get somebody so nobody would find out about it. He was, and what he says, I believe, because the data backs it up, okay? He said that once he found out what was going on, then he just completely cut him off. And that's what Epstein was mad about, is that he got cut off by Donald Trump.
Personally, I don't think it's about Epstein being a pedophile and all the disgusting things that we all know about. What this is about is, in what other way can we get Donald J. Trump? How can we implicate him in something? And they have all the muckety-mucks sitting around saying, all right, we tried this, we tried impeachment, we tried this, we tried this. Let's go for these emails.
Well, and it's funny because they had all this during the 2024 election. But they didn't want to sacrifice their own people in order to, quote, get Trump. And I just think that Donald Trump does not have, he wrote a letter. who cares? You write a letter to a million people. It's kind of like showing up in a picture. I'm sure there are pictures. I know there are pictures of me when I was on the campaign trail with some people that turned out to be shady people. Because when you're on the campaign trail, you get your picture taken with whoever asks you to get a picture.
Of course.
You don't know who they are. I remember, it's one of those things. And so just because some famous person has their picture taken with somebody that's shady doesn't mean that person is shady, okay? Because you do pictures all the time. So I just think it's one of those things that I want to get to the bottom of it. I want the stuff to be released. I want to know who's on there. And I guarantee you it is not, those emails don't implicate Trump, and that's not going to implicate Trump.
Well, what I think is so funny is they wanted to use this to besmudge and besmirch Donald Trump, and he turned it around and put it on them. And they're the ones nervous, squirming, and slimy.
Well, I mean, even Melinda Gates, okay, she finally did an interview where she said, what happened. And basically, she had discovered his relationship with Epstein, Bill Gates's, and she had said, you can't do this anymore or this is over. And he kept on doing it. And so it was over. It was the biggest divorce probably in the history of the world. And he's sorry about it because he realized he threw away a 25-year marriage with a woman who had known him, and from before, not before being rich, but before he was like Bill Gates. They worked together at Microsoft. He threw that away. I feel the same way about Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos threw away a 25-year marriage with a woman who had been there with him through thick and thin, in order to, get somebody that looks like an android, robot.
Yeah, she really does. I think she needs to slow down on the plastic surgery.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt about it. And I don't understand really how all these people try to get things going. But look, I want the entire list to be released. It should have been released 5 years ago. They've got to stop with this, we've got the list, we're going to release it, we this and that. Just release it. Release it. A woman has taken her own life in the last few months as a result of what happened to her. And we need to know what the stories are, and the women deserve for their stories to be told. To me, it's no different than the grooming gangs in the UK or any of these other situations that are going on. Why is it okay to take advantage of these women that have no voice, that don't have any, clearly, don't have resources, don't have things? Put it all out there. Don't protect anybody. Put it all out there. Let the chips fall where they may.
I feel so sorry for Virginia Dupre. I feel so sorry for her. And bringing up Prince Andrew, and he denied that he was in the picture. I mean, what a sicko. It was clearly his picture.
Yeah.
He just admitted it now that it was him,
and
by the way.
I don't care who it implicates. Okay? I want this all to be released, and I want the chips to fall where they may. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Jim in Commerce. Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great this morning. I got a whole lot ahead of me to do today.
Well, that makes it a great day, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hey, I'm blessed to be in America and be able to do what I do.
Yeah, and Jim, how old are you now? Do you mind telling us?
Yeah, I tell you, I'm in the 80s.
All right.
Like yeah, it's in the 80s, and I've seen a lot. I've had a lot of ups and downs, but I had a lot of opportunities also. And so my goal is to leave a firm reputation and legacy. And we're glad to be in Georgia. Betty and I were transferred here from New York, 1995. And that was a blessing because we had an opportunity to do more service to our people in this country, and that's what this thing is all about. Love thy brother. That's what the Bible says, and we've brought a lot of people together. And I don't mind saying it. One of my heroes in the state of Georgia is former Governor Nathan Deal. He stayed on track. He got in office and he said, I want to make Georgia good to do business. and just look at all the jobs that came to Georgia under his administration. Good jobs. But what I call about, I heard a comment said, well, they just want to get Donald Trump. The deal is that we don't care what it's Democrat or Republican. I remember my mom, back when I was 9 years old, said, Jimmy said, I want you to live and be an example like Franklin Delano Roosevelt. My mother, during World War II, she honored him. And I think leaders in our country ought to hold an example for our young people.
Jim, I really agree with you on that. And we're coming against a hard break right now, but I'm with you. I want this released. I want to know everybody that's involved, and the people that are involved ought to pay the price for it. And that's just the bottom line. It's been dragged on too long, and that's not fair to these women that were involved in this. So I agree. We'll be back on the Martha Zoller Show.
Hi, I'm John Shackelford, Executive Director of Eagle Ranch. For families in the middle of a struggle, knowing what is needed and where to go for help can be hard. To support these families, we created First Step Counseling. This new program allows families looking for help to meet with an Eagle Ranch counselor to share their story and make a plan for healing and renewal before starting therapy. Counselors are standing by and ready to meet with you and your family in person within a few days, so no long wait list. And like all Eagle Ranch services, no one is turned away because of financial constraints. Schedule a call with our First Step team today by going to eagleranch.org.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10 o'clock.
President Trump says there's nothing to hide. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Ahead of a House vote expected tomorrow he now supports, related to the Jeffrey Epstein scheme, sex trafficking underage girls. House Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox
President Trump has clean hands. He's not worried about it. I talk to him all the time. He has nothing to do with this.
The president's been telling Republicans not to fall into a Democrat trap, but Fox's Mark Meredith of the White House says it's
a big U-turn for President Trump. He is now encouraging House Republicans to vote this upcoming bill in the House, which would basically compel the Department of Justice to release its files on the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who died in prison back in 2019. The post on Truth Social overnight, the president saying House Republicans should vote to release the files because we have nothing to hide and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetuated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the great success of the Republican Party.
The U.S. military blew up another boat off the Venezuelan coast, the 21st strike in the operation targeting illegal drug trafficking. 3 more suspected smugglers killed, bringing the total number to 83. But President Trump told reporters last night there could be talks with the Venezuelan dictator who's wanted in the U.S.
We may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out.
A record number of Americans are planning to travel for Thanksgiving next week. AAA estimates nearly 82 million. Most will drive, but 6 million plan to take flights. As air travel gets back to normal, the FAA lifted all restrictions this morning.
The restrictions impacted 40 major U.S. airports. FAA leaders say the restrictions were needed to deal with the impacts of the government shutdown, including a shortage of air traffic controllers and TSA agents.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. A police officer is hospitalized in New York City after after being shot this morning, responding to the scene of a deadly shooting in Brooklyn. Luckily, the officer only grazed. In stable condition, the gunman fled. Police in New York City also keep searching for whoever shot an NFL player, critically injuring Chris Boyd of the Jets over the weekend. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and authorities are still searching for a Gainesville native who went missing this past week in the Blood Mountain area. WDUN's William Daughtry has the latest.
67-year-old Charles Hush went missing on Tuesday, last seen on the Byron Herbert Reese trailhead on Blood Mountain near the Union-Lumpkin County line. More than 10 agencies have since been searching for Hush. The Union County Sheriff's Office posted Saturday morning that they are now asking local hunters for access to game camera footage, hoping it may lead to clues on Hush's location. In the meantime, the public is being asked not to visit the trailhead area, as authorities say further vehicle and foot traffic could hinder search efforts. Anyone with information on Hush's location is asked to contact the Union County Sheriff's Office.
More than 10 acres of wooded area south of Dawsonville is damaged Sunday by a brush fire. More from WDUN's Logan Landers.
Dawson County and state fire prevention crews spent much of Sunday dousing a brush fire just southwest of Dawsonville. Dawson County's social media pages reported that their fire department's crews were called to put out the brush/woods fire early Sunday afternoon. Georgia Forestry Commission quickly responded and arrived thereafter, deploying a plowed break around the fire. Officials say the fire was contained within the mid-afternoon hours with no reports of any injuries. Nearly 12 acres of land were damaged, with the exact cause for the fire under investigation.
North Georgia Technical College Alumni Association recently announced the 2025 Alumni Award recipients during the college's annual homecoming. More from WDUN's Brian Perkle.
Sharon Landrum was named the 2025 Alumni Hall of Fame Award winner. She holds an NGTC degree in data processing. The Young Alumni Award was presented to Brenton Mealer, who has a degree in advanced manufacturing systems. Tim Bennett, who served as an instructor and director of economic development prior to his retirement, was given the Bridge Builder Award. And Ronnie Ayers, who holds a full-time teaching position in the school's welding program, was presented with the Career Achievement Award. To learn more about the award recipients, visit Access WDUN.
And a Middle Georgia private university will be led by a female president for the first time in its history, as Penny Elkins was named to be the next president for Macon's Mercer University. There's more news online at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
North Georgia, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s this afternoon and mostly clear this evening. Lows by tomorrow in the low 40s. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Cornelia and Dawsonville, 54 degrees. In Gainesville, 55. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Does your office technology slow your team down? Nothing is more frustrating than printers that jam, copiers that won't connect, and service providers that don't follow through. You and your team deserve technology that works. I'm Matt Nick, president of Duplicating Products, and for over 50 years, we've helped North Georgia offices eliminate bottlenecks, reduce downtime, and get reliable support for office technology. Our promise, we do what we say we will do. If you're tired of office equipment headaches, it's time for a change. Visit us today at duplicatingproducts.com.
Putting people first and providing excellent service is what separates our company from the rest. Hi, I'm Christopher Earls, and Georgia Select Roofing is my company. In my years of experience in roofing, I've learned how to repair everything from a big commercial project to a doghouse in the backyard. And yes, I provide Snoopy with the same attention to detail as I do Bill Gates. I work hard not only at my craft, but I present what's best for your budget. Log on to our website, GeorgiaSelectRoofing.com. At Georgia Select Roofing, we put quality on top.
Talking about the issues that affect you most. It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. Now from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, here's Martha Zoller on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
Maybe Katie Couric should do a deep dive into what Charlie Kirk stood for, because
He stood for freedom of speech, no matter what it was you were saying. He would go into these college campuses, into these bastions of liberal ideology, and he would want to engage with people. He did it peacefully. He did it respectfully. He believed in America. He believed in God, in Jesus. And there's nothing that he said or ever, talked about with people that was outrageous. So maybe she wants to go back and look at this. But the idea that she was essentially trying to get validation from John Fetterman there for Charlie Kirk's murder is kind of outrageous. I don't even know what the point of any of that was, but it kind of goes back to, how we got to this spot in the first place, where we saw a young father assassinated in cold blood. It's because people continue to push this idea that somehow there's a problem with that and maybe action should be taken. That was really shameful and pretty disgraceful and disgusting.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. I'm here with Joni Alpert. And Joni, I'm sure you saw this clip over the weekend. It's Katie Couric who was interviewing John Fetterman. Now, right after this interview, John Fetterman had, he's got a heart condition. He had a little heart issue where he fell as a result of his blood pressure dropping, and he got whacked pretty good on the face. And what was interesting is that's always the problem. The heart problem can be fixed and managed. He had to get his drugs managed. Where people get in trouble when they have these issues, and why you want to manage these issues, is the fall is usually what creates the damage. And that's what happened to him. He got 20 stitches in his face right after this, and he's doing fine now, but they're trying to deal with all the things that they're related to him. So Katie Couric makes these comments like, well, don't you think his rhetoric is a problem, and that someone and Fetterman, to his credit, said no, a husband and father was killed, and you should be able to say what you think whether someone else agrees with you or not.
Well, let me just say, I love Fetterman, and
I do too.
I love the fact that he is like the voice of reason.
Yep.
Which is amazing, and he'll say what he feels to anyone in any interview.
Yes.
That's the first thing. Second thing is, I saw that interview. Katie Couric was Couric.
Yeah.
Was despicable. So disgusting. I was yelling at the TV, and after the interview, I was trying to figure out how to reach her. I'm sure I posted some not so nice things. But I said to her, you lost your husband, and you were so involved in, I think it was colon cancer.
Yes.
You were so involved. How dare you speak this way about a man that was murdered? And not only that, it was so vile. And then she's...
Well, and it's part of that thing where there is a percentage of people, and obviously Katie Couric is in this percentage, that thinks that words are okay to instigate violence. And granted, I do think that we need to take the rhetoric down. I do think that you need to be careful about what you say. I agree with that. However, Charlie Kirk, if people are saying Charlie Kirk was violent, and look, Charlie started doing what he did that led to his death when he was 18. Was he as artful at 18 as he was at 31? No, he wasn't. But I've gone back and looked. He was a little more aggressive, let's just say, in the beginning of his career than he became over time. But it still was just words. It was just words. And you should be able to speak your mind without worrying about someone killing you.
Well, I just couldn't believe what came out of Katie's mouth. And she kept pressing Fetterman over and over and over again. And she had the nerve to say, do you think it was right that J.D. Vance flew the coffin on Air Force Two? It's like, it's his prerogative. It was Vance's prerogative. How dare she? And what a hypocrite. What, she didn't know about Matt Lauer and all that he did all those years, and now she's mightier than thou. She is despicable.
Well, I mean, and that's what I actually posted about this to her. I said, you stood by when Matt Lauer was doing what he was doing, and then you were also a part of kind of covering up for Biden and the other stuff there too. And It's really crazy. So here's Katie Couric. We're not going to play the whole thing. It's about 3 minutes long. But I want y'all to hear how she was asking the question and then how Fetterman answered.
Do you think that flags should have been flown at half staff? Do you think his body should have been flown on Air Force Two? Do you think he should have posthumously be given the Presidential Medal of Freedom? I think some people felt that was perhaps over the top in terms of mourning someone like Charlie Kirk. How did you feel about that?
I'd say that was his choice and his prerogative, and that was really entirely up to him.
Did you have any issues now in hindsight over some of the things that Charlie Kirk said and some of the rhetoric he used during his life?
I didn't agree with much of it. I didn't closely follow his specific kinds of views, but I did.
I'm sure you learned about them after his death, though.
No, I haven't done a deep dive on it. We've all seen that terrible video. Perhaps if you've seen the actual video, I have. And it's like appalling. And that's part of the political violence. And from what I'm saying, it's like that's unacceptable. And engaging in a debate and views I strongly disagree on, that's part of the American democracy. And for me, it's that would never justify what's happened. And I just chose not to take the opportunity to argue his views after children lost his father in the most violent public way. I mean, so that's, I would say the equivalent on the left might be, say, Mr. Piker. I strongly disagree with his views, but I'm appalled if something like that happened to him. Oh my God. I mean, that's, we have to disagree in better ways where, you're going to solve it by shooting people. And that's why the kinds of rhetoric, we have to turn the temperature down. Extreme rhetoric makes it easier for extreme reactions or to justify them.
I think
so. Just to get she keeps doing that. Some people say, Joni, I hate that. If she's going to call somebody out, she's supposed to be a journalist. Say this person says, and I've gone back and listened to a lot of Charlie Kirk. I'm not his demographic. Okay, I've listened to a lot of his stuff since he passed away. I would see clips of it. He was speaking about his views, and he was respectful to people. He was tough, but he wasn't unkind, and he certainly didn't deserve to be shot for it.
I don't understand this calling Charlie Kirk violent. I do not get it at all. He may have had a difference of opinion, but I don't see him going around killing people.
No, absolutely. So, look, I think it's very interesting that people now want to go after Fetterman about everything. And what I think, and I said this on the Georgia Gang this week, I said John Fetterman is representing his state that is a purple state. There are some views he has that are more Republican, some views that are more Democrat. My problem with our two senators is that they vote, yes, they work with Republicans sometimes on issues, but they vote 98% with the Democrats. And all they got was about 50. I think Warnock got maybe 51.2% of the vote, so he got a little bit more. But John Ossoff got 50.6% of the vote. He should be with people, and they're both saying they didn't fight hard enough to keep the government shut down. So they were in favor of more pain for the American people. And look, I think we need to go back to before Graham-Rudman, which is what happened in the 80s. You never had government shutdowns. You just agreed to fund the government at the current levels until you sorted it out. Graham-Rudman was supposed to bring more accountability, but all it did was turn it into a political weapon. We'll take a break.
Fuel our discussions with your opinions.
We need to talk about common sense here.
We're the station that gives you a voice.
It's my local station.
We're North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Hey there, it's Cody Lovin, owner of Crawlspace Medic. Is your crawl space giving you trouble? Maybe it's moisture, structural issues, or even foul odors? Don't worry, my team and I, we've seen it all. At Crawlspace Medic, we specialize in crawl space repairs, encapsulations, and basement waterproofing, ensuring your home's foundation stays solid and protected. We're all about delivering top-notch service you can trust with solutions that last. Give me a call at 706-410-2400 or visit crawlspacemedic.com for a free evaluation.
Are your fall projects piling up? Let's stay ahead of every cleanup job with the power and dependability of Steel Power Equipment. From blowers that clear your yard in no time to chainsaws and trimmers that make fall work easy, Steel has the tools built to last season after season. And when you're ready to gear up, head to Howard Brothers, your trusted Steel dealer. Their team will help you find exactly what you need to make fall jobs feel effortless. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Steel and Howard Brothers.
As an electric cooperative, Jackson EMC must always have an eye on the future, exploring the newest innovations taking place in every area of our business. Ideas that lead to a better use of resources and improved ways of conducting business. Automated switch technology, iPads in the field, and internal networking that enable us to pinpoint outages, access complex mapping, and provide faster response times. Jackson EMC, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow.
This is Terrell with the Spa on Green Street. I'm here with Tara, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the fun we're having in November.
Terrell, we have an early bird special November 17th through the 30th. Purchase a gift card and get 10% off of anything of $100 or more. We're also doing a very special Black Friday, November 28th. Purchase a gift card, receive 10% off, and get a special boutique item.
Come shop with us at the Spa on Green Street for your holiday needs.
Rise and shine with M&R Equipment and Rental. Your project success is our first job of the day. Whether it's landscaping, construction, or home renovation, we've got your back with our wide range of high-quality tools and equipment. We make starting your day easy. Simply pick your tool, choose your rental period, and get down to business. No job is too big or small. From saws to skid steers, we've got you covered and at prices that won't break your budget. Visit us at mnrrental.com. We're here to help you build a brighter tomorrow.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, a new school cluster of 3 buildings in Houston is getting closer to opening with Jackson County School System. Details at Access WDUN. And coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Yeah, it's the approach we take. We're gonna dominate and try to win the fourth quarter. It's what we do in practice. It's what we do in the off season. It's what we build our core culture around, is being a more physical team. And you have to recruit physical players, and they have to buy into that process. I don't know that a lot of these kids nowadays, they want to check. They don't want physicality. And if you have the check and no physicality, you end up with nothing. So we're not just getting checks at our place. We're hitting people.
So it is the Martha Zoller Show, and we'll talk a little more later on in the program about the Georgia-Texas game, which was amazing because we came from, not behind, we dominated the entire game, but we really put the afterburners on in the fourth quarter, as we always do. And what I love about what Kirby's talking about is that he has found this way to navigate this new NIL world, where these guys are getting these paychecks early, they're getting rich in college, and they move around from school to school, whoever's going to give them the best deal. And he's figured out a way to make the culture at Georgia so good that, yeah, they have some of the transfers, but not like the other schools, and he's able to put a program together. So it was a great night on Saturday night.
The few clips that I saw were really stunning.
Yes.
I was impressed.
I mean, and they were big. Brett Baer was at, we're going to talk to Brett later in the week, but Brett Baer was at that game. Matthew McConaughey, he's always at those games. Peyton Manning was there with his son, who's 14, who I'm sure we'll see. I guess, Logan, we'll see Peyton Manning's son playing at some point in time.
Mark it down in the next 10 years.
Yes,
I'm sure he'll be in college football somewhere.
Yes. So, and he waited a really long time to have kids. I mean, he's got twins. He's 49, and his twins are 15, 14. So he was in his mid-30s before he had kids. So, which I guess is not that old anymore. I think of that as being old, but it's not that old. Everybody waits now, I guess, to have kids, except in Israel. They don't wait. They have children. They have like
18,
6, 7,
19,
8,
20.
9
Yes.
kids. It's crazy. But it was a great day to be a Georgia Bulldog because we just get no respect. And now we're getting the respect that we deserve. And what did we end up, Logan? We're now 4th. Is that where we are?
We moved up to number 4, yes.
Moved up to number 4. And Georgia Tech's now in the top 12.
No.
Oh, I thought they ended up at 12.
No, they are still, I think they're at 16. So
Oh, really?
They're still on the outside looking in. Yeah, they won this week, but it was, I think it was a last-second win against Boston College. Yeah,
that's
so
right.
that they didn't move up much this week because it was a game they should have won by 30 points, but they ended up winning it at the very
So
end there.
Alabama dropped down to 12. Is that what happened?
I think Alabama's at 10 now.
10,
So
okay.
they're still in the fight because, of course.
So, Joni, just so you understand, because I know you're not the biggest football fan in the world, they changed it this year. Was last year the first year they did 12 teams?
No, this is the first time doing 12.
So it used to be only the top 4 got into the playoffs.
Right.
And then starting this year, they're going to do a longer set of playoffs, and they'll have 12 teams. And there's some kind of thing where you exempt. I don't know. I don't know what all the rules are. Have you figured them out, Logan? I don't know.
I need a whole breakdown every year just because everything changes. It's like even if you are ranked number 12, you might not make it because you're in a different conference and so on and so forth. It's still a mess.
It's a mess, but we'll see. It should be fun, and there'll be 3 or 4 weeks of playoffs, which is, great for people that love college football. I don't even watch pro anymore. I watch mainly, college football. So we got a couple of call-in messages saying, let me get all this in. Todd in Buford said, during the recent shutdown, I kept working. I don't believe that the taxes I'll be paying are deferred or canceled because the government checkbook was simply closed. Where's my bonus or my thanks for just being a taxpayer that I kept on making money and being charged for it? Just doing what you're supposed to do Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 and more. The country is $38 trillion in debt with no simple budget to follow and massive wasteful spending, easily identified and growing. As corrupt as the spending is, I'm surprised there's not some type of spending category the payroll could be declared. That was my question all along that I am trying to get an answer to. So I'm self-employed, so I paid a big quarterly check on the 15th of September before the shutdown. Okay, you guys are self-employed, right? You probably did
That's
too.
correct, yes.
You probably did too. Anybody that was a W-2 employee or was getting a paycheck all during the month of, October, there was W-2 check, taxes being paid. So there was a chunk of money coming in that the government could have been run on. Now, granted, the Constitution says that the money has to be appropriated by Congress. That's why I think we need to repeal Graham-Rudman, which would get us back to where the government would just keep running until they came up with a deal at current spending levels. That's the way it was.
And stop paying the senators.
Yeah, and stop paying them.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
Yeah. A lot of things are disgusting, aren't they, Joni?
Well, why don't we change them? Why
That's
don't
right,
we change them?
We need to get to where they don't get paid.
Yes.
They don't get paid if they don't vote on a budget. Now, we got another, James in Cummings said, amen, release all the Epstein files, no redactions, get it done with. Thank you. And Ferry Hauser said, I remember Katie Couric interviewing Reverend Billy Graham back in the late 80s. She was rude, disrespectful, and contentious. I never watched her again. That's Ferry in Athens. So,
I used to think she was terrific.
Yeah.
And a true journalist. I am so disappointed and disgusted.
There's an attitude of, in order to be a journalist, you've got to be contentious. And I don't think it has to be as fawning, okay? But I think you can be nice and ask questions without trying to play gotcha.
It was just an amazing interview to watch. She just kept circling back and would try the gotcha. And he would give an answer, a brilliant answer, and then she would come back, another gotcha. I mean, she just kept going at him. It was ridiculous.
So President Trump did a interview with the folks from GB News, which is Great Britain News. It's the fastest growing news channel in Great Britain, over the BBC story last week. I'm sure you followed that, where
Of
the BBC
course.
did a documentary where they took 2 pieces of a speech an hour apart and put them together to make it sound like he was saying, go out and tear the Capitol down. And they did not play the one where he said, go and peacefully protest, which is really what happened. And not mostly what happened. Where he was speaking, it was a peaceful protest. There was 30 or 40,000 people. They were there peacefully at the Washington Monument. They were praying. They were doing that. There were 1,000 or so that broke off and started going down. And those folks, to me, when they broke down the stanchions, disobeyed the police, and broke into the Capitol, they lost me. They're wrong. They were wrong. They shouldn't have done it. That's just it. That's it. There shouldn't be any more discussion about it. But the BBC tried to make it look like it fit a narrative for them.
I am so personally disappointed because I search everywhere for the true news, and I thought maybe I had a chance listening to the BBC, and they are so despicable and disappointing, and I hope Trump gets them in their pocketbook and gets their attention, and perhaps some of this will stop.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens with all of this. And he's taking this position that he is suing everybody that does this kind of thing, and he's winning in most cases. I do think he needs to be careful about the business that he's doing in addition, or that his family's doing now in conjunction with the things that are happening. I think he needs to be careful with that because it does look a little bit, especially when it comes to Bitcoin and a couple of other things, that there's a little parallel stuff going on.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful with that stuff. I know he's thinking about that he's going to be out in 2 years because, folks, he is not going to run for another term. He's just poking people when he says that, and so he feels like he's going to be in business again in a couple of years. So he's getting a little too close to that lane for my comfort. But, it's Donald Trump. We're going to see what happens.
Yeah. I love him. I can't control him.
No.
I agree with you on these side businesses, not appropriate for the president, but he's not going to listen to me.
Well, I think his point of view is I'm not taking a salary for this job. I give my salary to charity. So if I'm working on deals on the side, that's not a conflict. But I think that just the fact of who he is, it is a conflict.
Well, I just love the fact that, personally, I love the fact that he's doing the ballroom in the White House. I just think it's really fun to see him drive people crazy.
Yeah, it is fun to see him drive people crazy. I think we'll see what happens with all of this. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we hopefully are going to talk to Steve Moore. You know how it is on Monday, but Monday is market day because it's a little volatile. We'll be back on the Martha Zoller Show.
So Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $29.95 a month for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This top-tier plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you'll save over 50% every month for the rest of your life. You might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer expires 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom. Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
Work up an appetite and help the Cops and Kids Christmas program. Be part of the Cops and Gobblers 5K and Fun Run. It starts in front of our studios in downtown Gainesville Thanksgiving morning. Register today at copsandgobblers5k.com. Brought to you by Hasty Pope and North Georgia's News Talk.
Happy Thanksgiving.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10:30.
Fox News
News. I'm CJ Papa. President Trump calling on House Republicans to release all of the Jeffrey Epstein files.
The president posted on Truth Social overnight. I want to read it to you. He said, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax perpetuated by radical left lunatics in order to deflect from the success of the Republican Party.
Fox's Mark Meredith, the White House. A vote in the House on the bill to release the files could take place tomorrow. Back to normal at the 40 airports where the FAA drops its mandated cuts in flights. This woman compared her trip to Houston and this morning's return flight home.
The TSA lines was out the airport when we was coming here. When we came back, it's actually not that bad, but it's also 4 in the morning. My flight's not till 7.
A gunman attacking a high school in northwestern Nigeria early on Monday, kidnapping 25 schoolgirls, killing one staffer, injuring another. That's according to police. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. More than 10 acres of wooded area south of Dawsonville is damaged from a Sunday brush fire. WDUN's Logan Landers reports.
Dawson County and state fire prevention crews spent much of Sunday dousing a brush fire just southwest of Dawsonville. Fire department's crews were called to put out the brush/woods fire early Sunday afternoon. Georgia Forestry Commission quickly responded and arrived thereafter, deploying a plowed brake around the fire. Officials say the fire was contained within the mid-afternoon hours with no reports of any injuries. Nearly 12 acres of land were damaged, with the exact cause for the fire under investigation.
Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta should be back to normal today. Flight cancellations implemented last week while the government was on shutdown are over, and cancellations started disappearing in Atlanta towards the end of last week. So what is exactly the most popular side dish for Georgians at the Thanksgiving table? GNN's Rebecca Hughes reveals the results from the latest survey.
According to a survey called State of the Sides by Campbell's, stuffing and dressing remains the most popular side dish this Thanksgiving in not only Georgia, but in the entire United States. Mashed potatoes came in second place. The survey says 63% of Americans prefer sides over turkey, just a plate full of sides.
You'll find more news online at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
North Georgia, mostly sunny skies. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 60s for highs this afternoon. And yes, there is more sunshine for this afternoon. Mostly clear this evening and lows by tomorrow in the low 40s. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Bethlehem, 57 degrees. Baldwin, 55. And in Gainesville, 56. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
It's Mike Robertson of Oakwood Tire and More. As our name suggests, we can handle all your tire needs, but some have asked what we mean when we say and more. At Oakwood Tire, we're more than just tires. We also handle general repair. We handle alignments, brakes, AC service, suspension work. Speaking of suspension work, if you're looking to upgrade your ride, we can put tires, wheels, lift kit, anything like that on there. See us at www.oakwoodtire.com. Stop by at 3120 Atlanta Highway, where we're more than just tires.
So it's time to replace your roof. You've seen your neighbor's metal roof and wondered if that's for you. The answer is yes, thanks to Dawsonville Metal Products. Metal roofing from Dawsonville Metal gives you the maximum choices for making your roof look and function its best. It can be installed over your existing roof and can boost your home's value. Let Justin Odom show you the many benefits of metal roofing. Call Dawsonville Metal Products at 706-265-3099 and visit them online at dawsonvillemetal.com.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
You look at overall inflation for the first year of Trump versus Biden. Biden, overall inflation was up 4.3%, higher than Trump, just up 1.6%. Groceries under Biden in that time, up 3.8%, with Trump up 1.3%. And then when it comes to gas, this is crazy. Biden up 24.4%. With Trump, it is actually down 5.4%. That is where the biggest difference is. And we heard from the HUD Secretary, Scott Turner, this afternoon. They are racing to cut red tape for construction projects because the belief among officials here is that if housing is the number one place where people are getting killed when it comes to affordability, if people are cutting red tape and able to build more houses and apartments, then the prices will come down. Pretty basic supply and demand in play.
So I played it earlier in the show too, but I wanted to play it again because, the whole attitude of the inflation stuff is we got to get this message out. And it can't just be on Fox News, Joni. Joni Alpert's here with me today. It is the Martha Zoller Show. We've got to do a better job of getting this message out everywhere. And you're starting to see, like, there was a little openness with the, quote, mainstream media for a little bit when Trump was winning with all these peace deals and that kind of thing. And there was a little bit more positive discussion. But you can tell they're circling the wagon now that they've won a couple. They won New Jersey and Virginia, which wasn't surprising, quite frankly. And they won these PSC races here in Georgia. So now they're starting to be a little more, oh, what about the economy in the mainstream media?
Well, they're digging. I think they're digging for something. So, and I think that Trump's on it. I mean, look what he's talking about with housing. He's talking about the 50-year mortgage. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but
I think it's terrible.
Yes,
it's a terrible idea.
But the point is he's addressing it. He's trying to figure out what to do.
I think he's kind of throwing that idea out there like he did with Gaza Riviera, that he threw that idea that we should take it over so that he could get these Arab countries to step up to the plate. I think on this, the 50-year mortgage, which they do in the UK and they do in France and other places like that, I just think it's a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. I mean, I know that the bigger problem is the interest rates, and if we can get the interest rates down, then a 30-year mortgage or a 15-year mortgage is fine, because home ownership is really what builds wealth in America, and that's what we got to get back to.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many of these young people who, I was watching a story yesterday on CBS News. The average age for home buyers now is 40.
First-time home buyers.
First-time
home
buyers.
Crazy.
I don't know if that could be right, but it was such a shock.
Yeah, I saw a report that said 38, so that's roughly in the same area. And I just, I think I bought my first house. I was about 22, I think, or 23 when I bought my first house, and interest rates were 13.5%. Okay, this was in the Carter era, and it was crazy. I mean, my mortgage payment in 1981 was like about $900 a month. And then by 1991, because the interest rates had gone down, my mortgage payment was half that. I didn't have a $900 a month mortgage payment again until I moved into the house I'm living in now.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
The interest rates were crazy. We paid 14.5% for our first house, but we were able to scrape our money together to do it.
That's right. That's right. And I think that there are a lot of extra expenses. Cell phones are more expensive than your traditional landline, even if you adjust for inflation. I went through this thing. I found out, okay, so I have International Day Pass on my phone, which is $12 a day to have international calling. What I didn't understand is that my husband answering my call here in the United States, he didn't have International Day Pass.
Uh-oh.
So I ended up. So what I'm going to do is use WhatsApp from now on. I'm going to use one of those services that is free over the internet.
WhatsApp is great.
As soon as calling.
It's free.
Yeah, it's free and it's over. That's what I'm going to do. But I learned the hard way because I got my bill and I said, so you're telling me I have International Day Pass, but if I call my husband and he picks up the call, then he's got to pay full rates? Oh, yeah, that's the way it is, ma'am. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't understand that because we normally travel together. So when we're both international, it's not an issue, right? So so I learned that the hard way. And, but, you can add $15 a month so that they can accept calls. No, I'm going to find another way to make the calls.
Yeah, WhatsApp is terrific.
Who's your carrier?
Hold on, let me think a minute. Spectrum.
So you do Spectrum. You do your cell phone through Spectrum. So we don't have Spectrum out to where we live, and so I'm on AT&T. I've been at AT&T. I love their customer service, and we actually get very good rates with them, except when I got my bill yesterday, and Saturday. I got on the phone with them on Saturday to run it down to try to figure it out, and I've been with them so long. But I shop around about once a year to see if I can get, a better deal, because it's so much easier to port your number now than it used to be. Port your number, guys, is like if you've had this cell phone number, you can move it over to the other carrier and it's not a problem. So I'm going to shop around probably again the first of the year and see what I can find out, see if I can find a better deal.
Can I ask how large that bill was?
It was $400.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Have you thought about calling them and asking for a one-time forgiveness?
Yeah, I did talk to him yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, I called him immediately as soon as I got the bill. And they're going to do something for it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Good.
So it was not a problem there, but still it wasn't 400, maybe it was 300 something, but it was normally 135 for the three. We have 3 phones on the line. It's $135. That's normally what we pay.
But you weren't expecting it?
No.
And
I mean, I was expecting the $12 a day for the international
Right.
day pass while I was gone. I wasn't expecting the $250 more in college. And we didn't even talk that much. That's what I don't understand. So that's why I got on the phone with them immediately.
I think maybe we should start a consumer segment.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And I'm pretty good about staying on the top of this stuff every month. I mean, and I call AT&T once a year. I'm out at DirecTV now, but I call AT&T once a year and beat them up and say, I'm going to cancel if you don't give me a reduction. And so they always do, but you've got to do that. You got to be assertive about that.
Yeah, it's really not fun. And they send
No.
you to retention.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they come up with this magical discount.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am looking, a friend of mine does Patriot Mobile and she travels a lot and it's not very expensive. And then there's a lot of other services. I'll admit, I get nervous because I feel like I get very good customer service from AT&T and I'm willing to pay a little more for good customer service if I can get them on the phone and that kind of thing. But it's getting to be where I need to make a change. And we've gotten rid of some of the services. We got rid of the television services that we had. We're now just got a couple of streaming services in YouTube, and we don't do YouTube TV. We did for the rest of the football season. We're going to, we upgraded our ESPN for the rest of the football season. So for the next 3 months, we can watch all the games and not have to worry about it. But that's like a going out to dinner fee. Do you know what I mean?
It's a luxury.
It's a luxury that we said, okay, we want to be able to watch the games with our kids when they come over, so we'll upgrade it for 3 months. And then I put a little notification in my phone 3 months from now to go in and cancel it and go from there on it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a lot of work.
You know what? It's a lot of work, but worth it. All these little things that you should check on and see if there's a better...
So it was funny because when I went to Israel, I, of course, made sure all my stuff was in order in case something happened to me over there. And I was thinking to myself, oh, my God, there's going to be so many things my husband hates doing that he's going to have to do if something happens to me. So I got to make sure I get home safe because he'll never make it having to do all the things that I do.
Like, give me some examples.
Checking up on all these monthlies, going through, doing all the administrative stuff. He hates the getting on the phone with people. I don't mind. I don't mind getting on the phone with people and waiting if I have to be able to get to the bottom of something. I don't mind that. He hates that kind of stuff.
That's my job. I love it.
Yeah,
I find it
that's what I do,
challenging.
too. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I love saving the money. My problem is, and I said to Hal, if anything happens to me, do you know where the lint trap is in the dryer? And
Yeah.
He did not know.
No, my husband
So-
hasn't done laundry
What?
in 35 years. So I was home from the hospital in 2020 when I had the pneumonic effusion, and I'd been home for 4 or 5 or 6 days, and I was in the hospital for 10 days before that. So no laundry had gotten done during that period of time. And my husband was so cute because he was cooking for me 3 meals a day and he was taking great care of me. He was doing my IV antibiotics. I mean, he was taking great care of me. But he says, you know what, honey? Because I had one of those, I think it's called a condenser. It's one of those oxygen machines that had the thing with the long cord so I could walk all over the house with my oxygen while I was still on oxygen. And he says, it would be really good if you could get back to some of the things you normally do, because if you get back into your normal routine, you're going to recover better. I said, so you need me to do some laundry, right? And he goes, yeah. So
That is
anyway,
so
I
funny.
got the laundry done.
I think that our husbands need to know how to work a laundry machine. It's
So,
not that hard.
Here's the deal we have. I don't do yard work, and he doesn't have to do laundry. That's the thing. I don't like working out in the yard, so,
But he should know how
Yes,
to
he should know
operate
how
it.
to do
That's
it.
all I'm saying. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But in a backup emergency, he should know.
That's right. No, it's true. It's like he does go to the grocery store now. He didn't do that for years, but now he's kind of become my sous chef. And so he likes to chop and, do all that kind of stuff as we get ready to cook things. It is interesting, this place in life we are right now, because we're we're doing the things we always did for each other, but we're kind of learning how to do some of the other things too. And that's for that very reason, because you don't know what's going to happen.
No, absolutely. I like having that shared responsibilities and relationships. And Hal is just learning, I hate to say this, to go to the grocery store. And I will say, get this, it's on sale, get this. And I make a list, and he comes back. He said, well, this package looked a little larger of the Bon Bell Baby Bell cheese. I said, I know, but it wasn't buy one, get one.
Yes.
I mean, he'll just buy things and not look at the price. And I can't understand how he does that.
Well, and I think the thing is we've got to realize that they're not our assistant and that they're going to do things, their own way. I mean, Lynn's the same way. He's the reverse. He likes to go to like Walmart and go grocery shopping, or Aldi. He likes to go to the cheapest places. And it's not that I don't look for sales. I do. But I manage all the Kroger coupons. I tend to go to Kroger and I do Click List. And the reason why I do Click List is because you don't veer off the list. You know what I mean? You put your list in, they pick everything, and it's exactly what you put in the list without anything extra being added.
I couldn't live like that. I'm very sorry, Martha. I could not live like that. If I see something and I want to get it, I feel so fortunate that I can. The other thing, I'm a Publix person.
Yeah.
Has to be a Publix. And I love the buy one, get one. And what I love more is that I'm like an idiot servant. I remember every price of everything. And Publix has a policy that if you ring something up wrong, you get it for free. So, and then what I do is if I save $10 on an item, they ring it up wrong. You get it zeroed out. You get the $10. You save the $10.
Right.
Then I get home from the grocery store. I circle it and I send it to my grandchildren. So it costs Hal double every time I save. So for the $10, I circle it, and then I send 10 for each of the older grandchildren with the note, and watch your money and enjoy. And they get it almost every week. They get money.
That's crazy.
I think it's a great idea because you learn that money is not some obscure thing.
No, you learn that money appears from your grandparents
on
a regular basis.
They get the receipt. They get the receipt from Publix with the items circled. And so
we'll take a break and we'll be back.
Todd Starnes.
But if you want to talk about problems, talk about Joe Biden, who literally funded Iran's nuclear program.
It's the Todd Starnes Show, weekdays noon till 3 on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Should you make your trust the beneficiary of your IRA? So many say you shouldn't, but we say you should. This is Kevin Tharp, elder law and estate planning attorney. And if you want your IRA to be protected for your surviving spouse, children, or family, then you should leave it to them at your death through a trust. For more information, go to my website, kevintharp.com.
Does your office technology slow your team down? Nothing is more frustrating than printers that jam, copiers that won't connect, and service providers that don't follow through. You and your team deserve technology that works. I'm Matt Nick, president of Duplicating Products, and for over 50 years, we've helped North Georgia offices eliminate bottlenecks, reduce downtime, and get reliable support for office technology. Our promise, we do what we say we will do. If you're tired of office equipment headaches, it's time for a change. Visit us today at duplicatingproducts.com.
There's nothing quite like a local neighbor. That's why AARP is local, right here in Midtown Atlanta, to offer you free events and enriching experiences that help you with finances, family, and fun. We are in the community, connecting you to what matters most right when you need it. Visit our website at aarp.org/GA or visit us on social media at AARP Georgia to find out more information on how we're helping your money, health, and happiness live as long as you do.
This fall, give your lawn and food plots the winning edge with Limelight Pro. Now at Farmers Exchange in Cleveland. Limelight Pro is a premium, fast-acting pelletized lime that helps balance soil pH, unlock nutrients, and boost plant growth. Easy to spread, quick to work, and perfect for a fall application. Whether growing grass, gardens, or game plots, get the results you want with Limelight Pro. Farmers Exchange, your hometown partner for a stronger, greener season.
Haley's back with us from your local Clipper store. We're talking about the brand new location on Falcon Parkway, and you've got something really cool, literally, for folks who are thirsty.
Yes, Bill. So we just opened our new store off of Exit 14 in Flowery Branch. And we have cold brew on tap for all you coffee lovers out there. We also have the new bean to cup where you do not have to wait for a hot cup of coffee. It's instant and it's delicious.
I'll agree with that. Coffee at Clipper, always the best. That's why we say Clipper, never fly solo.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, a dozen acres of wooded brush is damaged from a weekend fire southwest of Dawsonville. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN talk and text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
What kind of message will you have, or have you had, or will you have tomorrow to this team before this big game?
Save up. I think I talked about it last time. Don't expend your energy on things that are foolish. Your phone, wasted time, anxiety, things you don't control. I really want them to rest and relax because it's going to be a 4-quarter game. All these games have, and they need to be ready and prepared to play in front of a hell of an environment. I can't wait to see this environment in Sanford Stadium.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and I'm here with Joni Alpert, and we've got a few text messages. Joe said, tell her husband to look at the per ounce price when he shops. That makes life so much easier. BOGO's rock. So anyway. And then it says, I like the portable mortgage. You can take your current interest rate over to a new home loan. Yeah, is that one of the Trump ideas?
That is one of the ideas. I think that one is a wonderful idea because so many people are stuck. Let's say they got a mortgage at 2.5% if they were lucky enough, and they want to move. They've had children. Their life situation have changed. You can't give that mortgage rate up.
So Todd in Buford said, do you know what regulations are so costly in home building that cost so much? Florida and California are known for taking quite a few extra steps to build a home because of weather ready and California lunacy. Northern states build based on the winter conditions. In Georgia, I just see the new corporate real estate investment companies paying more than the independent investors and the massive wealthy migration movement in our state getting the high-paying jobs instead of locals. People just paying more, causing price increases. So, there's a lot going on in the real estate market right now, folks. And I think I'm a very simple woman. I think the interest rates got to get down. I think that's the key. Once the interest rates get down, then you're going to see a lot more people moving around. And I like the idea of this portable mortgage. That's the first I've heard of it.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, once you qualify for a mortgage, then you get to take it around with you, kind of like porting your phone number or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. But we'll see, we'll see what happens. So, Logan, it was a big game Saturday night. I guess we were the biggest game of the week, don't you think?
I would say so. Yes, we were.
Yeah. So, Matthew McConaughey was there. Brett Baer was there. Peyton Manning was there, of course. Arch Manning started to get better, in the second half, but then we just shut him down with some special teams plays that nobody had seen in a while.
No, the special teams played the onside kick after they had scored a touchdown that put them up by, I believe, 11 at that point. And, you normally don't see onside kicks whenever, a team is leading. Normally it's, oh, hey, we're down by a touchdown with less than a minute left. Let's hope we can get this onside kick and go for something. But, they always say expect the unexpected, and Georgia played a phenomenal game pretty much, from offense, defense, special teams, and they beat a very good Texas team by 25 points and a good dominant win and moved them up in the rankings even more, which you love to see.
So one of the guys said about Kirby Smart that he's like the monster in the basement that he's going to be coming, you just don't know when.
He's always there. You just don't know when he's going to pop out and surprise you.
I know, and he really has found a way, and I'm not saying he's not going to lose players to the transfer portal, and he's not going to have players act like Carson Beck did when he got NIL money.
Right.
But he has been able to find this balance where he's been able to kind of manage a team in the old way where he's saying, hey, do you want to win? You got to follow my plan. And he's doing better, I think, than any other coach in managing the whole NIL landscape.
I would say Kirby's definitely, top of the list. Also, former Georgia assistant coach Dan Lanning over at Oregon. They're doing a great job over there also. And, you know, with Kirby, he has the winning culture at Georgia, which is obviously going to attract people to come and play for him as opposed to leave. And obviously, you know, since he's been on the sidelines for the past close to 10 years, if not more now, you know, he's commanded respect, and it's been given to him. And you see, you know, it's reaped the fruits of their labor with championships, top 10 rankings, you name it.
And I love, there's a lot of pictures, Joni, on the internet of all the dogs that are playing on Sunday. That's gone to the NFL is what that means. And you see that with both Alabama and Georgia. Alabama and Georgia go back and forth every year about who has the most people playing in the NFL. And so because of that, you know, guys look at playing at Alabama or Georgia as being their best ticket to get in the NFL. And that's what they ultimately want to do. So it's interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. So did you see the story about Lawson Lucky this week?
No, I did not. What's going on with Lawson?
So he is this kid from Norcross, so just right down the road, who played football, and he's a tight end. And he scored 3 touchdowns last week and 1 this week,
Yep.
Lawson Lucky. He's got a severely disabled younger brother that's 13 years old. And so he was being recruited by every single team in Division I. And he realized that his father's not in the picture. His father actually played at the University of Georgia. His father was Mike Lucky, who was one of triplets that all played at the University
Wow.
of Georgia. I know, male triplets. So
Wow.
they were biological triplets, not,
Gee.
not because
IV
of
triplets.
IV triplets, IVF triplets. And the dad is not in the picture. I'm not sure what the situation is, but he's the oldest brother. And his 13-year-old brother is severely disabled. He's got some kind of very rare condition where he only has half of a brain, and it's really, really bad. And he just said, look, I got to play at Georgia. I either got to play at Georgia or I can't play football because I can't be that far away from my mom. And so he's been playing at Georgia, and he's a freshman, I think, this year, Logan, or he was a redshirt last year. He was great.
Well, it says a lot about his character.
Yes.
Really does.
It says a lot about his
Yes.
character that he put family first.
Yes,
and you know what?
absolutely.
He'll be taking care of his mom and his family, soon, because he'll be playing on Sunday. There's no doubt about that. I'll hope and pray he doesn't get hurt while he's here. Joni, another great show. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here.
And there's lots more to come right here on the Martha Zoller Show.